My name is Carol. I live in southeast Georgia and I'm 59. And I have been diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic cancer. At first, I wasn't going to tell anybody. I didn't want anybody to know my business. And that's understandable. I'm sure everybody would understand that. But then I got to thinking about it. Somebody could possibly be helped by my experience. So I decided to share. I wish I had started this way back when everything started, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to catch everybody up. Okay, back in December, on December 19th, I had my first mammogram. Well, it wasn't the very first mammogram, but the first mammogram I've had in a number of years, quite a few years. It's been over 20 years as far as I remember. When I went to see my doctor, he referred me to Dr. Lee and Dr. Jaw. Dr. Lee's the surgeon, Dr. Jaw's my oncologist. Next thing I know, I'm being scheduled for a diagnostic mammogram and a sonogram of my right breast. So in January, it was late January, I had that done. February, I think it was the first week of February, I had the biopsy done. And in March, I had the bone scan and the marker placement. Then in April, I went in. It was the first week of April, April 2nd. I went in. My sister came up from Florida, my middle sister, and she took me to the hospital where I was having the surgery done. And oops, y'all forgive me. I'm doing this on my phone. I don't have highfalutin equipment. So I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm having to do it the best way I know how. So maybe if I prop it up. There we go. When I went in, they had me, the night before, I had to wash with a anesthetic body wash from my neck down. Then I had, when I got up that next morning, the morning of the surgery, I had to do it again. When I got to the hospital, they had me take everything off. I'm sorry, it's very warm out here. I had to take everything off, and I had to wipe down with these anesthetic sterile wipes, and they gave you 2 per pack. You did one arm with one wipe, one arm with the other, then you did both legs, then you did your front and your back. Okay, and she hooked me up, the nurse hooked me up with an IV, put the pulsometer on me, and all that, and next thing I know, my oxygen kept going down. It wouldn't stay up. It kept going down below 90. So my surgeon came in, and boy, he chewed me up one side and down the other, because at the time I was still smoking. Yes, I smoked cigarettes back then, off and on from the time I got out of high school, which was in '80. Now, mind you, I didn't smoke consistently all those years. I did quit several times in between for several years, but then I would pick it back up. And the same thing happened. I had quit for 2 years, and then I started back. Um, and I hadn't been smoking that long, and I was going to quit anyway, but I was still smoking at the time that I was scheduled for this surgery. And the doctor, he went up one side of me and down the other because I wasn't taking care of myself. Um, I was smoking. I didn't have a CPAP machine. And I had a sleep study done way back in 2013, I think it was. But I didn't have a CPAP machine because they wanted me to buy it, and I didn't have the money. I couldn't afford to do it, so I didn't do it. Also, let's see. He fussed at me about something else. Anyway, at the first of the year in January, I decided to go on the keto diet, which was doing very well for me. It was keeping my blood sugar under control, and I was losing weight. I had gained up to 309 pounds, and I'm just going to be up front and tell the truth. I was heavy. I was well overweight, way overweight. But I lost down to 276 pounds on the keto diet. Now, mind you, I had gone on a plateau, and I'd done that. Every time I would lose a little bit, and then I would stay there for a couple of weeks, and then I'd start losing again. And it was like that all the time, and I would get frustrated with it, but I tried my hardest to stay on it, and I did really well. Okay, moving on. We had to reschedule that appointment, or actually he canceled it and told me I had to go see a pulmonologist. And I did that in April. On April 21st, I went and saw the pulmonologist. When I went in there, my pulse ox was good. It was up above 95. He was happy, and he referred me back to the surgeon and gave the go-ahead to do the surgery. So in May, I had a lumpectomy done. And yes, I was still smoking right up to the night before. I don't remember the date. I don't remember anything. My middle sister could probably tell you. She came the night before. She spent the night with us. Again, I had to do the shower. And I skipped the shower the next morning. I forgot all about it. But we went, and they didn't fuss or do. They got me right into surgery. However, when I got to surgery, now this is the story that I understand, or that I remember. Now I could be remembering it incorrectly, but this is the story that I was told. When I got into surgery, they took the lump out. The surgeon had to go back in and get more of it because he didn't get it all. He took out 17 lymph nodes. 15 of them was cancerous. When they got done with the surgery, he closed me up. He put a drain over here where he took the lymph nodes out. And, and the drain was, in me was about that long. The drain outside of me, there was a long tube with a little plastic bulb on the end of it that you had to squeeze the air out of it, and that would suck the drainage into the bulb. But when he went to wake me up, all the fluid that they used to wake me up all went to my lungs, and I stopped breathing. They had to ventilate me, put a ventilator on me, and then they couldn't get me to wake up. So I ended up in the ICU. My sister took a picture of it, which I will post. I guess I scared. I know I did. I scared Faith, my middle sister. I scared her. The rest of the family, I scared them. I didn't mean to, and I am so sorry that happened. In other words, I almost died on the operating table. But thankfully God was with me. And obviously I'm not done with whatever it is He wants me to do. Because I'm still here, thank God. Thursday night or early Friday morning, I woke up with this thing in my throat. And I thought I was going to die. It was painful. I coughed and I coughed and I coughed with that thing in my throat, and it was painful. It was scary. I had a male nurse, and he was the kindest thing, and I am so grateful. I thank God for the people that were there who helped me get through this, because there was nobody else there. Of course, this is in the middle of the COVID-19 thing, and they wouldn't allow visitors at certain times. My sister had to go home and come back, and it's not her fault. So I'm not blaming anybody for anything that happened to me, okay? I'm just saying that I am thankful for those that were there, the heroes that were there at the hospital attending me, because I couldn't have gotten through it without them. The first thing he told me was to relax and to just let it happen as it did. And I did. I coughed and I coughed, and I got through it. And I mean, I had like 3 or 4 people all of a sudden just just descend upon me and to help me get through it. And it happened off and on through the night. And even until the next morning, after daylight. And finally, it settled down, and they took the ventilator tube out. I was allowed to stay on my diet while I was there at the hospital. I told the nurse that I was on the keto diet. I wasn't allowed to have any sugar, any bread, any starches at all. No potatoes, no bread, nothing starchy, not even corn or beans, because they are starchy. And what happens, your body turns that starch into sugar, okay? Even if it's a starchy vegetable, it turns it into sugar. And I don't need that sugar in my body. My body doesn't use sugar very well, for whatever reason. And that's how I've been able to keep my A1C down below 7. Matter of fact, last test I had, it was a 5 or less. So I'm doing good on the keto diet. And I need to maintain that diet. And I know that this is a lifestyle change. This is something that I have to do from now until Jesus comes back. Because that, that's just my build, my makeup and everything. So, anyway, I was in the ICU for at least a day and a half. The following day, I got to be discharged. Dr. Lee came in. When was it? Saturday morning, and told me that he would discharge me because the doctor that came in the night before said that I was doing good and he would let Dr. Lee know that I was ready to be discharged. So they sent me home. I didn't do too bad at home. I was sore. I hurt. I remember having to take some Tylenol 3. He had oxycodone for me, but I opted to take some Tylenol 3 that my doctor had prescribed for me, but I didn't never get the prescription filled. And he prescribed it for me when I smashed my thumb in the door, and it huge hematoma up underneath it. I ended up losing that nail, and anyway, I controlled that pain. I went to see him to make sure it wasn't broken. Anyway, I filled that prescription, and I did okay on that. Now, the drain was a pain in the derriere. That thing hurt. And the other thing, too, was all of these nerves in here were dead. All the way up my arm. On this side of my arm. All of this was dead. I couldn't feel anything. To this day, this part right here is still, it's not as bad as it was, but right in here, all of this is dead. I have no feeling in there. Okay? It's coming back slowly but surely, and I do have pain, as the nerves continue to regenerate, or but it's not near what it was before. Taking a shower with that drain in was a pain in the... I had to learn to take the bulb off of the drain tube. It took several weeks before it finally hit me, hey, why don't you just take the bulb off? But what I would do is I'd get in the shower and I'd set the bulb on the thing there that you put your dish rag, your wash rag on. And I would shower, do the best I could, and try not to knock that bulb off, because when it fell, it would jerk, and that was very uncomfortable. But I finally got, take the bulb off, and that was so much easier. I wish I'll remember that. So if they ever put a drain bulb or drain tube on you with the little bulb, take the bulb off when you go to get a shower. It's so much easier. Okay? Anyway, then I had to learn to strip the tubing. It would get clogged up. The stuff that was drained would coagulate, and it would get clogged up, and I would have to strip it. I would have to pinch it way back here and strip that all the way down that tube and keep, until I got all that mess out and I would rinse the bulb out, with I'd have a hot glass of water or a cup of water and squeeze the bulb, all the air out of the bulb, and then fill it up, let it fill up with the water, and then and I kept doing that over and over again, until I got it cleaned out. And sometimes that stuff would coagulate in the tube and get into the bulb when I stripped it, and it would still clog up, But I did get it clean. You would get it cleaned out, and then it would start draining again. I bless the day that they took that thing out. Let me tell you something. Okay, about several weeks after I had that surgery, I had the port put in. You can see, it's just been a few weeks ago that they put this in. Now, when I go to have chemo, I've got to have 20 weeks of chemo done, which should start either at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. Yesterday, I went to have my scans done, and I had to drink that barium contrast stuff. It's real chalky. They gave me 2. I had to drink 1 the night before, 1 that morning, yesterday morning, before I went to the hospital. Then when I got to the hospital, they gave me another one. I had to drink about half of it. They did my echocardiogram yesterday, and I had a CT scan of my chest, abdomen, and pelvis to see if my cancer had spread to other organs in my body. I do not know the results of that. I go to see my oncologist next Friday to find out what the results are, and I will let you know. I will try to post a video every week or so as things develop. I may even post one several days in a row. It depends on what happens. But I pray that someone will be blessed by these videos, and I hope that I'm able to help. One thing that I did learn, if you're diagnosed with any type of cancer, especially if you have a metastatic type of cancer or any type of breast cancer, at the very beginning of the diagnosis, go to your, if you don't have insurance or your insurance isn't going to cover, in my case, I had indemnity insurance through work. It didn't cover anything except the office visit, $70 of the office visit. That's all that my insurance covered. So I ended up having to cancel that in order to get Women's Health Medicaid. That's what I got. If I had known what I know now, I would have gotten that way back in January. But I didn't. I didn't get it until just the beginning of this month, I believe it was. And they sent me to the health department, and I because of my diagnosis, they put me on Peach State Medicaid. So from here on out, everything that happens now is supposed to be covered. I had to get an approval code in order to get the scans done. They couldn't even do the scans until I got the approval code, which set me back another week. But it's worth it to me because I'm getting help. So if you get a diagnosis for cancer, at least go and find out from your oncologist what your diagnosis is. Go to your health department if you need financial help and ask them if they can help you in any way, shape, or form. Don't wait until you've already had all your surgeries and everything to go and find out if you can get help. Do it. Just get it done. Okay? You've got to be proactive about what your case. Okay? I'm having to learn the hard way, or I had to learn the hard way. The lady at the, I kept hearing it, but nobody would really explain it to me until finally, the one lady that I talked to explained everything to me, and she set me up an appointment. Of course, I thought it was in one county, and it actually was in another, and I ended up having to rush to the other health department. But they were generous. They took me in. They did my paperwork, and I was approved. It was nothing. So I just hope and pray that the steps that I've gone through will help somebody along the way. Until next time, God bless you and God keep you. God cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace.